Hello.
Hey,
There we go.
girl, I'm so excited about this.
Me too. Let me just get some water. I
Okay.
realize I'm parched. Oh. You know what? I'm gonna get my notebook. Okay. Ready to rock.
Turn my music down.
Okay. Where are you?
I'm in Kentucky.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we're on the same deal, on the same time thing.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on gallery view.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I figure both of us are really good at improv. So we're just gonna rock this thing.
Great. Great. I love it. I have my
Okay.
notes out because I know magic is gonna just come pouring out.
You know it will. So I have a disclaimer before that I always do, like reframing's better than having to go back and do it later.
Yeah.
And then, we do an intro of each other, we talk and then yeah, we just go for it.
Okay.
Just like high vibe, high vibe.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pause my music.
Okay.
No, maybe we should come in with it on.
Yeah, I like that. Movement. Oh, I just came off of a dance meeting, so it's perfect.
All right, here we go. More. I've never done this, so live on
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Share it on my timeline. Preparing live stream. Not now. I'm calling it Magic, Mayhem, and Creative Catalyst Shifts.
Yes, I love mayhem.
And I'm going to tag you in it.
Okay,
Here we go. We're going live.
all right.
It's doing its little thing.
Okay. Just so you know, it says live on my side.
Woo woo! Okay, we are live. This is Debbie Stroud. I am here with my friend Enchantress Shane.
Yes, it's a midday party.
So we are inviting you today to Magic, Mayhem, and Creative Catalyst Shifts.
Ah,
I know, amazing, right?
yeah,
Oh my God, I've been so excited for this Facebook Live. So here's the thing. whether if you're joining us on live, whether today we're here for a couple of reasons. We are here because the distinctions that we're going to talk about today are going to transform your life, no matter if we ever see each other or not again. Mm-hmm. And second, we will take a little bit of time and talk about what we both are offering in case you want to get in on the bandwagon. We'll give you some information to hook up with both of us, and it's going to be amazing. So Shane, tell our viewers a little bit about you.
Well, so I'm Enchantress Shane, and you know when people are hiding and you know all this like inner implosion is happening. So I work with people who don't want to implode anymore. And I meet them as I include their inner children of all different ages. And I help people fuck their fears. And it's like the title makes my inner teenager very happy.
Me too.
Yeah, and I own the Awkward Academy because there's so many flavors of awkward, and it gets in the way of making money, of being in love, and it's useful for creativity.
Right.
And so I was a therapist, I was a special education teacher, I was a stripper, I was a restaurant person. Like I worked in all these different jobs, and every single time I changed from what I was doing if it wasn't fun. So I bring fun and joy, not as like, oh, that's cool, that's fun. It's like mandatory, necessary, it's medicine. And most adults don't know how to do it. Most adults know how to win, have an agenda, reach a goal. And my superpower is playing just for the sake of playing. And then the permission to do big, bold moves in the world really come through. So
yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool because we have a lot of things in common without even knowing that we do. So I have had a career as a high school art teacher, and you know, connecting with those people. And I went from a public school system to an alternative school where there are a lot of really high risk socioeconomic kids that really need love, need fun, and they need just magic in their lives, consistency, you know. And so I've been able to bring my creative magic to that scene. And both of us have done the Mama Gina's School of Womanly Arts. I haven't done the school, but I'm all about her stuff. And when I first started my business online and I hired my first person to help me, I went through the whole thing, and then I was just looking at your bio and I thought, oh my God, she did it too. So that's one of the really cool reasons that we connected. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, of course. Like I reached out to you on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I know her. Something there.
I know, right? It's so cool. Like I was saying on my video this morning, it's energy attracts energy. And it's not one of those freaking woo-woo things, you know? It's just that everything is energy. Everything vibrates at a certain level, and we're an energetic match for each other. You know, that's the same thing with, I work with, let me tell you what I do. So yeah. I have a background that's a lot different from yours. I was raised in a really super uber strict religious environment. I mean, it's like my whole life was tied up in the church. It's who I could see, who I could not see. It was my family, it was my friends. And I left that scene, you know, quite a few years ago, but it took me a long time to get deconditioned, even to the fact that, because the way I was raised, pleasure was dirty. Pleasure was like wrong. It was something that, and so as a result of that, I never was happy because I didn't know how to like let go, you know. And it's, I've always been an extrovert. I've always been able to talk to people and work with people. But when I became free, and when I decided to put my pleasure first and to start doing things to where I was happy, the amazing thing that I found that happened was my vibe went up through the window, up through the wall. And you can manifest from any point in your life. I think you can manifest if you get into the right deal, but it's a hell of a lot easier to manifest from a high vibration state than from a place of desperation or anxiety.
Yeah, well, interestingly, we're always manifesting, right? So even when people are complaining or poo-pooing or fighting, there's manifestation happening there too.
Exactly.
And so I really, and I love that you're a sister goddess. Of course you are. And
I know,
you know,
right?
yeah, there's something that's like, it's not like let's just stay high and joyful. It's like let's get through the muck to get to that place
Mhm.
so that we earn it, we deserve it, we belong there. And it's not just, we're not just trying to skip over stuff. We're like, yeah, it's important to have the swamp, the darkness, the feelings,
Right.
because there's also pleasure there. Like
Definitely.
imagine that pain and pleasure sit together, and in our bodies it feels the same, but our minds are like, this sucks. But it's like, what if you have the courage to sprinkle pleasure on what sucks? Then it becomes like a new canvas. You don't know what to expect.
Right. And not only that, but what if all of the things that you always thought were wrong with you
Yeah.
or were bad,
Yeah.
really the things that were right?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Oh, what an amazing shift.
It's amazing, and it's like talking to you with your paintings behind you. My whole life I thought, and even in instances now, I was like, oh, I'm a bullshit artist. Like, I'm such a bullshit artist.
Right.
But the truth is, I learned how to be a bullshit artist because teachers made me wrong. So I had to be creative in how I felt safe and comfortable. So I would make stuff up, or I would do things last minute and then be like, "Phew, I made it." Because if I didn't have that, I would just be ostracized, in trouble, doing the wrong thing. And so at a very young age, my coping mechanism was to just get shit done, make it up. And now we're doing it right now, right? We just met. We didn't even talk before right now. We trust ourselves. I
Right.
trust the bullshit artist in me is in my best interest because it brings me forth, and it brings connection. I don't
And
have to plan. I don't have any notes to look at. I'm
right.
just here with you. And listen,
That's
that
the amazing
in
part.
the world, in the coaching world, in the world, forget humans. If we can trust ourselves, you can show up anywhere.
Totally. Totally show up anywhere. Here's the thing. When I first, and I've been a bullshit artist too. I've dabbled in it my whole life. My dad was an amazing artist. He decided, and my mom decided, because they had my best interest at heart, that I needed to go into medicine. And so I was very musical. I can play instruments both by sight and ear. I've always been able to draw. Been very attracted to sculpture. And I went to college the first time to go into medicine because that's what made money. Right. And so I packed up all of those creative dreams and I stuffed them in a closet and I put them in the back so I wouldn't even have to think about them. Right. And I've told somebody, I don't know how many people I've told this, all of my life I tried to run from that. It's like really running from who you are on the inside.
Mhm.
Just makes you sad. It makes you miserable. It makes you have this deep soul level dull ache on the inside that will not go away. And you wonder, what is that ache? It's just like, you're never quite, it's just stepping into your truth. That's all it is. And so I went back to college at the age of 40. I
Hmm.
had 3 girls. I was a single mom with no child support.
Wow.
A door opened for me to go back to college, and I went to college and I knew I wanted to do art. So I can't, you're talking about bullshitting your way through. Here I am sitting in my painting class, advanced painting class, right? And if my painting professors are watching this, y'all, I love you so much. And really the things that you say to me, I still learn from you today. But here I am, I'd had no formal art training, and all of a sudden I decided I'm going to be an art major. And so here I am sitting here, and the kids around me were the same age as my kids, right? I had a daughter. I went to college as a freshman with my middle daughter, who was a freshman at the same college. You know, that thing, is it Napoleon Dynamite? Like, your mom goes to college. Well, that was like that for her. And so here I'm sitting here in my painting class, and I'm looking on each side because these kids are doing this stuff. I was a great emulator. I could emulate all kinds of stuff. I could fake my way through so many situations just because I was so creative. You just pull it out of thin air. And so I'll never forget my painting professor, amazing painter, realistic, photorealistic, unreal, came back behind me, and I'm painting and I'm doing my thing, and he stops, and you can feel him. He's standing here and he goes, "You have a lot of passion.
Wow.
What does that mean? What does that mean? I have a lot of passion. And so a lot of times it is about passion. And seriously, I can say that the passion is what carried me through the rough times. The passion is what a lot of times got me up in the morning, even though inside that continuous loops playing in my mind. You're not good enough. You're a single mom. You're never going to be able to make it in this world. You're always going to live in government housing. You're never going to be enough. And at some point in time, you stop that continuous loop and you're like, F it. That is not the truth. We are going to interrupt this pattern and we are going to play a new story.
Yeah.
That's when that's when I redealt my cards.
Yeah. And was there something around that? I'm curious, like, how did you know to stop? Like, was there something that?
I was so miserable, depressed. Here's what did it for me. I'm trying to think of how to say this. So I can remember the boiling point was one of my daughters, my oldest daughter, was working. Again, we were living in government housing. I cooked spaghetti, and my youngest daughter is 12 years younger than my older two. So she's been kind of raised as an only child, even though she's not one. She's a freshman in college now at the University of Kentucky. But I was so miserable and wrapped up in my life. I didn't have it in me I tried to be a good mom. You know, your own version of what a good mom is. And I can remember that it was so boiled up inside of me, and the things that especially in religion, that I had resisted because that institution told me things were bad. So that's what I believed about myself. I had pushed those things down inside so much, and it was so impacted in me that I was toxic. And I can remember that my youngest daughter spilled a drink, and something clicked inside of me. And before I knew it, I had thrown spaghetti and I'd thrown this. And I thought, oh my God, what did I just do? Something's got to happen. And so that was just about the time that I started college. And I started to devour every self-help book I could about, and seriously, the religion that I was in gave me a real good foundation on manifesting. There's always good that you can glean from every situation, I believe. There's always lessons to be learned. And some of the lessons that I learned are things that I still use today. I tell you what has really changed in my life, especially the past 3 years, is consciously surrounding myself with people that are like-minded and people that are on the same vibe as I am, and that I really connect with, building a real solid, and I'm not saying big, solid circle of female friends that they've got my back no matter what. What about you?
It's so good. It's like, I know what that feels like, and there's a part of my inner teenager that's like, well, other people don't, so go stuff it, and it's
right.
And I think, to me, that's the best part of social media, which is because you've experienced that and you have that sisterhood, no matter what, they have your back, that everything that comes through you, everything that comes through me has this essence of like, so what? I still love you. So what? I still love you. Because we as women are our biggest enemies. We can talk such shit about ourselves, men too, but women, we're really good at it. And so being that pole, being that coach, that guide, the mentor, that's like, I don't care. You're going to fight for your limitations. I'm going to love you anyway, no matter what.
Exactly.
Is so, it's critical. It's like, that's what's needed.
Most definitely. And here's what I think too. People don't get that.
Right.
They don't get that sometimes. And I think that one of the reasons, number one, that's why they are drawn to people like us, because that's what we energetically put out into the universe, that, I've been through this shit. I lived in it. I'm not here anymore. Oh my God, let me help you.
Yeah.
Let me help you. Yeah. I just want to take the rope and pull you up out of that muck because I was just there. Look at it. It's still all over me, but I'm surviving and I'm thriving. That's
Yes.
the
Yes, I love that. And it's like I've been writing and writing, and it's like I'm gonna fucking love you unconditionally. You want that? Like bring it. And so
right.
that bigness, that is like the advocate. That's the um I forgot that, like the activists, right?
Yeah.
That we all have in us. That's like, it's soul family, it's sisterhood, it's brotherhood, which is I see you suffering. How long do you want to stay there? Because I can be here when you're done, and maybe someone else has to throw their spaghetti or, unfortunately, like hurt the ones we love in order to be like, okay, well, that's not working. Clearly, other people are being damaged.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of it too, don't you think?
Well, I mean, I can say yes, but it's like my inner child, my inner teenager lately has been like really loud.
Yeah.
So even as you and I are talking, she's like, so like I have all these notes of what she really wants to say today. And it's so, and the fact she wants to hide all the time. Like the teenager in me is like, just, so I just had a meeting. I had to show up for it. And now we're here and I'm like, okay, cool. What's going to happen now? So
Right.
what I find about her, and it ties to what we're just speaking of, even if she does show up when she doesn't want to, she's really direct.
Mhm.
She's
Mhm.
not trying to be nice or fluff up things. And she's like, I'm going to fucking love you. I don't care. Even if you don't give me credit for it, even if you think I'm still mean and rude, I'm going to love you. And that's how teenagers are. They're not like, thank you for your fierce love. They're like, yeah. So to really be able to show up even today with you right now, even before that already is the most powerful thing. And anyone who's watching this live on the replay and they're like, yeah, look at these two chicks, whatever they have to say, if they're teenagers up, it's like, yeah, and I'm going to fucking love you anyway. And we're both going to be able to show up when you're ready to be like, all right, well, now I'm here on
Yep.
my time, you know?
You're right. That's exactly right. And I for me, it's not so much the teenager showing up. For me, it's the little girl. The
Mm.
little girl who, no matter what she did, all the straight A's, everything that she did, she never ever felt like she was enough.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that has played out in my adult life too. And it's really, that's been a part of me really climbing out and being able to manifest the life that I want, heal
Yeah.
myself, and get to a point where I can help other people. The thing is, it's not manufactured positivity, it's not fake spirituality. It is turning to that thing or those things and saying, listen,
Yeah.
we're going to take all the clothes off. The things that were covering me aren't covering me anymore. We're naked and we're bare, and I'm going to deal with you, and I'm
Yeah.
going to love you, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make you feel safe, and you are going to be safe from now on. I used to be so embarrassed. I've been married a few times, and I always told myself that I was not good at relationships. So guess what happened in my life? You got mixed up with, you think, oh, this is going to be the great one that I manifested. And it goes along and you think, oh my God, why am I in this? How did I get here? But
Yeah.
it's a process, and it's a thing where you bring all of those down deep, dark shadow things out, because it's not good. It's not bad.
Mm.
It's a part of me, and it makes me who I am.
Yeah.
And that's the magic part. The magic part is it can still be a part of me.
Yep.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm going to creatively be a catalyst and change that around too, instead of drowning in it in the muck. Sister, let me pull you up, girl.
Mm.
Let me
Yeah.
love you. Let me help you. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And they don't have to change. Like whoever I'm pulling up, they can be resistant. Like bring your darkness, bring your pity, bring your victim, bring it, because I will just see it. If that's all I do is hear it and see
Right.
it, it's enough to let it feel allowed, to have permission to be darkness, to be resistant. That's the key, and people are scared. For me, the teenager thing is strong because people are scared of teenagers.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
sharp at the tongue. Yeah, they throw stuff.
Listen, this year I've been called everything but a white woman, and I've been called that quite not very nicely. So it is what it is. That is it's but that's the thing, the unconditional love, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember when I first felt that, it was in my improv acting class. And it was hard to be my teacher because I had every case study about why I sucked. You
Right.
know, every case study, every point. And I was like, well, well, well. And this teacher, Erin Flowers, was like, you keep showing up. That works. And I was like, what? While I was sleeping on the way here, I was tired. It wasn't safe for me to be driving. Like, I had every excuse of why I am not worthy of unconditional love. And she kept on loving me. And slowly, my soul knew, drop everything in life and show up to this class every Wednesday for 2 years. Stop dating, stop drinking, stop anything recreational. And my soul just knew this was the teacher for me. And that's, I think, why I reached out to you, why we're here together. It's like when you trust that whisper that says, reach out.
Let's talk about that whisper.
Yes.
Let's talk about that whisper.
So a lot of the shamanic trainings that I've studied with, and this natural, I recognize that I'm from this, it's called Kadesha tribe. And it's like the whispering, sometimes how we have to talk to ourselves. It's like, because the voices of our soul, they're not like, hey, here's the answer.
Exactly.
So we have to whisper. Yeah, even to ourselves as a practice. When I was a classroom teacher, and I'm sure know this, when the class is loud, if you whisper,
get quiet.
yeah, they'll come in. You don't try to top them. So it's really important to be kind and slow and gentle with the little parts of ourselves that are like, are you going to be mad at me if I speak up? They're afraid. Their fears.
Definitely. Yep. Yep. I'm going to read we got a ton of people watching us.
Oh, cool. Hi, everyone.
Yes. Rebecca says, if I question my safety at all, I go silent.
And you know what? That's genius. I'm glad she had that mechanism to grow up with. Maybe she needed it, right? But as adults, even her just sharing it, I just got chills.
Me too.
Extremely powerful. Witnessed.
And it's okay. It's okay to go silent.
Mm-hmm.
Question your safety at all? That's okay to go silent.
Yeah.
People process different things in different ways, and in this whole journey, what I have found is sometimes what works for me, not going to work for you.
Oh, I know that.
And that's okay.
I keep learning that. I can't seem to get that lesson through my thick head sometimes. It's like the inner teenager or the little little girl in me is like, no, this is the way. Come, come, come. But then when I get back into my integrated self, I'm like, actually, let me stay curious. I'm going to give you a bunch of tools and let's see how you walk down your road. And that will be great. And hiding is a huge part of it. Like, we're not saying don't hide.
No,
so
right.
the one speaking or the part of you that wants to be like this, like, that's okay. You can't stay there forever. But if you tell someone, hey, I feel like hiding, hey, I'm going silent, then at least you're giving that energy. You're giving someone else accountability that you're not going to stay in hiding forever in isolation alone.
Right. And that's a healthy boundary. Sometimes we have to do that.
Yes.
Boundaries are not bad. I grew up thinking, I grew up not having any boundaries.
Yeah,
All I knew what they were.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And then I went through the phase of, if I put a boundary here and the toxic people that I am around in my life, toxic people don't like boundaries because they don't know what they are.
Right.
And then there was this guilt and shame of, why are you putting this is no, you're manipulating. No, it's not about any of that. It's about being healthy and standing firm in what I know is good and healthy for me. It's not about controlling people. And I've taught my girls this.
Yeah.
You cannot control what other people do, but you can always control how you respond to it and how you handle yourself.
Totally.
Always under our control.
Totally. And I want to give the tip, I'll call it a tip, is like, you may not know your process, But what you can take is, I need more time to just speak. I need more time. I can't answer you. I hear your desperation. I hear you wanting me to get a point, but I don't even know yet. So I need to take a break and take some time. Could be a day, could be a week, and maybe can you check in on me in a week? But
Right.
to really own, I don't even know my boundary yet, but I do know that I don't know.
Right.
And that's extremely powerful, is to take the I don't know time and to sit with it, play with it, be with it, ignore it, come back to it, and to trust that we have all the time in the world, even after people are deceased, to keep working with the process. It never ends. It's not like I'm ready, all my shit's worked out. It's
Right.
always more shit. There's always more. So
And the thing too, there was a while in my life where, I've lived my life to the extreme. And I've learned that it doesn't have to be this extreme of really bad or this extreme of very good. It can be a healthy
mm,
norm. It can be
hmm
a healthy norm. So, example, one of the things, after I've been married several times and after I got rid of the guilt and shame of that, I decided that I was going to manifest a healthy man that did not need fixing, which, that's all good. But is there anybody, seriously, I came to this realization,
yeah,
is there anybody that's already reached perfect healing? If they have, I think that they've reached enlightenment. They're probably not living on this earthly plane anymore.
yeah,
Sometimes it's a matter of an agreement where you come together and you're like, yeah, I've had a shitty past in my relationships, and I'm really vibing with you, and we're on this same path together. So let's heal together.
yeah, yeah,
You know, it's been that way with a lot of my girlfriends too. We get each other, man. We get each other. You have my back and I have your back. So I'm going to text you when I'm in a place where I need accountability, or I need, lifting up, or I need you to call me and talk me down off of this.
yeah.
And boom, there's a phone call, or boom, there's a text. And one thing that I have learned too, I'm working with an amazing business coach right now who is really training me on neuro-linguistic programming techniques. And it
Mhm.
has flat changed my life.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I've carried away from this thing so far is that in order to, and you talked a little bit before about interrupting that circuit. How did you get to the point of interrupting that circuit? Sometimes with those continuous crap stories that we just keep playing on continuous loop that keep our minds mush, and us believing that we're not enough. Sometimes it's easy as you thinking, oh, there it is, and you interrupt it, and
Yeah.
you do anything to interrupt it. You use humor to interrupt it. You spell your last name backwards. You recite your phone number backwards. And I put that out on the internet one day, and my cousin who lives in Virginia she messaged me. She was like, "That really works. I was so freaking out over this and that." And she said, "I read that and I thought, that's not going to work." And she said, all of a sudden I interrupted it, and I really had to work to spell my name backwards, and I couldn't even remember what I was worrying about.
Yeah. I love that. It can be, here's the thing, right? The ego wants it to be hard, big work,
Yes.
trouble. But the brain is so adaptable to, I love using gibberish. Like that's my go-to, is like, let's move beyond the logical brain.
Right. It's
And
the same tech. It's the same thing.
yeah, just like do something that's ridiculous and not logical. And then we get to paint with a different color that we never would have done before, because it's like, well, I just did something different. Even just stepping to the side. I love practical magic, right? We talked
Yeah.
about magic, and it doesn't, the word abracadabra in Hebrew means speak it and so it is. And so really trusting that magic is an alchemy. When humans are born, there's alchemy there.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that happens, we forget it. And we're like, okay, I need systems, I need logic, I need goals. And it's like, wait a minute, yes. And we need beyond the logic, beyond what makes sense, because there's so many limitations there. Look at our world. There's so many limitations. When anybody says the word or, it's limited, black or white. It's like, well, what about both? What
Right.
about all? What about and?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You're saying, I think that I lived my whole life ridiculous and not logical. I love those words that you just said, ridiculous and not logical. I don't know how many times I have, and okay, ridiculous but not logical. That is, you get to a certain level of trusting yourself, and that's when you really move into that full, because some of the decisions that I make, some of the business decisions that I make, normal people would say, what the
Yeah, totally.
what? No, you can't do that. Rein that back in. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I've already jumped in with both feet. It's not
Yeah,
logical.
no.
Sometimes you just have to trust yourself that what this is in my life, how I'm heading it, it's a good step.
I mean, I have a master's degree. I was a parent coach. I'm a licensed therapist, special education. And I'm like, no, I was also a stripper. And now I'm an enchantress and I'm teaching a course called Fuck Your Fears. Everything in me was
Right.
like, you're going to get in trouble. But at the time, I was actually graduating from Mama Gina's Womanly School of Arts.
Right.
I just came from a room of 300 women who were like, do whatever you want. And I was like, okay, cool. I closed that business with no pretty bow. I just merged mailing lists. People were like, what? And I never got in trouble. And what happens is a lot of women, when you have that seed of I'm going to get in trouble, well, guess what manifests? You
You're
get
going
in
to get in
trouble.
trouble. Heck yes.
So it's not easy to say, screw it, I'm going to create my whole world of Mishkabibble. But I am going to do it anyway. And I'm going to lean back on my sisters, on my soul family, because if you feel like you're going to get in trouble, you are going to get in trouble. And there's no reason to ever rip a band-aid off. But there is a reason to take the band-aid off and be with sisters and show your wounds and allow those wounds to be seen so they can heal.
Most definitely.
Amazing.
Sometimes I do rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Well, and you know that it's going to be okay, right? So
I do. Yeah. And even 2 years ago, there would have been no way I'd have ripped the Band-Aid off. Quantum leaps, energetic match. So this is the thing too, and you've got this cool offering called Fuck Fear, and I have one that's called Make Love to the Resistance, and they're very similar. And I do want to say this. There's so many coaches and so many people who are so jealous of each other, and they're like always putting each other down. What is all about that? Because here's the thing. There are people, we're all doing the same thing. We're all raising the vibe. People connect with people, and we should lift each other up and do things like you and I are doing. It does not matter. It does not matter if you want to work with Shane and you don't want to work with me. I do not care, because I know the right people are going to come to me. The right people are going to come to Shane. Whoever is going to be able to help you, please go. Please work. Yes.
And I love that vein that you just opened, which is the market is so saturated. There's so many. Here's the thing. There's so many people that are not doing the work at all. And the idea that there's a competition, even just very generally, is based on lack. It's like,
It is.
It's not enough for me. So why should I be, why should I fuck my fears and put something in the world? And the truth is, there's enough to go around. Every year there's thousands of doctors and lawyers that graduate every year. Thousands.
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking, oh, I shouldn't be a lawyer. There's so many lawyers already. So, I'm really big about helping people birth something into the world, whether it's a relationship or anything, a business, a one-woman show. And there's always a need for that, just like doctors and lawyers and
right.
That's like brought in by the patriarchy. So it's something new for us to respect and honor what we call intuition. But more and more what people are seeing, it's needed. It's necessary. Sorry about the binging and the dinging. I don't know how to shut that.
No, that's from the universe. Pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention and like check in. Yeah, let's check in. And I want to thank all the people for showing up live. And I'm curious, even on the replays, like what is everybody getting? Just to help people digest from everything that we're getting high on is like, what are people getting from hearing us?
Rebecca says, everyone expects me to be right all the time.
Yeah. That's great.
She said, Heather, is this the same? Yeah, she says, this is true for every single thing there is out there that people do. No competition. You can do what you like to do.
Yes.
It may not look like you think it will look like.
Mm.
I'm trying to see what else is she saying.
Yeah,
It
that's
may not
important.
look like you think it will. Like, for example, people who want to be a musician for a living, there's infinite ways that can manifest.
Infinite.
Yes. I
Yes.
love that. Thank you, Heather. There is infinite ways to manifest. That's what I do. I don't work with people that are birthing their own business. I work with people who cannot get past the fear to create the life they want.
Hmm.
I think that that is such a passion for me because that's how I lived most of my life. And I know that there is a way that you can get past that. And like you said before, humans make it, ego makes it so hard. This stuff is not rocket science. It's not. You can manifest anything in your life you want. And
And
that's not
really,
plastic spirituality. It's the
no,
truth.
I mean, and the truth, manifesting is not always positive. So to just remember, you're always manifesting. Everyone, whatever your thought is, it is manifesting into
That's
something.
true.
That's the true word of manifest to bring it into fruition. So
Yeah.
if you're like, you know what, someone's gonna da da da, I'm gonna da da da, I'm gonna get that will happen. And I really want people to see it that way, that you are responsible. That's what's in your control. And so just to be like, oh, cool, look what I had somebody really mean right on one of my posts a couple
Right.
of months ago. And she said, like if she was a precision surgeon to get into that tiny, tiny open wound that I still have, she's like, you're a con artist, you're a stripper, that blah, 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 blah. She really sliced into me.
Right.
And so beautiful because in that moment, I didn't feel pain. I was like, oh, that's a woman that's hurting.
Yeah.
Holy moly. And of course I trigger her because I'm like, yeah, do whatever you want. And she's living in this, like, I can't do whatever I want. So I say that to say, wow, thank you for opening that teeny tiny teeny wounds because now it is gone. And I am so in conviction with what I do that I needed to see that wound in order, and follow me here, um, yeah, I needed to see that wound. I needed to be so big on my public figure page, on a very well liked post so that everybody else could see it. And also to see how I reacted to it. And of course, I discussed it on my Friday Coven. I was like, this is exactly what she said. And this woman did a potential call with me. We did a curiosity call. And she was angry. And we never got on the phone. She was angry at me for not scheduling it right. She was angry, all these things. So what happens is you get that spaghetti flinging moment where you
Yeah.
you outwardly lash out. And that doesn't have to get to that point, but for many people it does. And it's really, really important to take responsibility for manifesting everything. And
That's
you know what? You don't even have to listen to us. Go look up the word manifesting. Do your
right.
research, do your homework, take it out of the woo woo into your pen and paper and look up the word manifestation.
Yeah. I want to pull that one word out that you just said, and it's called responsibility. I think
Mhm.
that is so important because I was raised in a victim mentality, and responsibility was not a part of my life. So in a lot of the healing that I've done, I've learned that not my partner, not my mom, not my dad, not my friends, me, Debbie Stroud, I am responsible for my life where it is right now. And
Mhm.
taking responsibility does not mean fault or blame. It doesn't mean fault or blame with me. It doesn't mean that I have fault or blame with anybody else. It's that the buck's going to stop here. What is my role in this? And when you can step back from it and really ask yourself, even with failed marriages, right, where it's really bad, and there was an abusive relationship, which one of my marriages was like that. It took me a long time to even be able to look back. I'm like, I didn't have any fault or blame in that. What, are you kidding me? I was the victim there. Okay, so let's look at this realistically. I did have a role to play in that because if I'm honest with myself, I ignored the red flags because I did not want to be alone.
Mm.
Was it my fault that I was abused? Hell no, it was not my fault. Was it a good thing? No. But I can learn from it, because I can say I was responsible for not doing the red flag, for not seeing the red flags. Now, let me step back and look at this. Are there other areas of my life that I am doing the same thing, or other patterns that I'm repeating the same thing in my life? And if I am, let me step back and look at that honestly, because I can interrupt that pattern too and stop it.
Yeah. Oh, that is it. That's it. That's the process right there.
It
It's
is.
not about the singular details where, when people are stressed or the inner child is triggered, it's like, I want this to be different. I want this. And it's like, pull back, notice the difficulty, notice the challenge, and see where that's happening elsewhere. And then be like, oh, it's me. Oh, that's great. Now, it doesn't feel great, right? It feels like, oh, everything is wrong. But if you look at it, you can dismantle it. You can use tools. You can spring clean, which we both know. You can do all the things that visit your consciousness so you can unpack it, and this doesn't really happen alone. And this is the purpose of having a mentor, right? So they could be like, hey, you're doing that thing again.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And, in saying that, and in saying taking personal responsibility, there are some people, I don't want anybody to take this as a takeaway that I'm saying, oh, you're telling me that I'm always wrong. You're telling me that I'm not enough. That is not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying that I got to a point in my life where I knew, number one, I needed some help to get out of this shithole that was my life. Number two, I did have patterns that I was repeating over and over, and I had no clue. I was not aware. In my subconscious there, I kept repeating the same things. It's like I'm marrying the same person in a different body. What is that even about? And until I got to the point where, boom, it's the mic drop. Boom.
Yes.
It stops here. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and things are going to change. They're no longer going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And people spend their whole lives repeating patterns, blaming everybody.
Yes, they do.
And, that's a choice. And they might not see it as a choice.
Right. It's a choice. Hey, let's talk about what we have going on. Tell us about your Fuck Your Fears deal going on.
Yes. So Fuck Your Fears has shifts as much as I do. And right now it's available for women who want to birth something in the world. It could be a business, it could be a one-woman show, it could be a dinner party, but it's something that needs to be visible in the world. It could be an artist who wants their stuff in a gallery. So
Right.
It's about visibility, working through fears, including all the inner children of all of us, and changing life to have more play in it on a deep and profound level. And so that's a course that happens. It's evergreen, which means it continues. 2 women join a month, up to. And I like it that way. And I feel no pressure. And I really welcome women who are good fits. I'm not trying to make my program good for everybody. And then I work with people one-on-one who need more attention. And I have a free course coming up for men and women called the Unsexy Course. And it's really learning how to be vulnerable and weird and awkward in connection with others.
Awesome.
Yes.
So after this live is over, for the replay, we'll put the links for contact Shane and everything that's going on.
And I'm all over on social media. So
yeah, I am too. And and you can find us just by like Googling our names, because we're pretty transparent.
Yes. And I also want to say, like, I'm not an extrovert. Like, I love hiding and I love my small, tiny groups. So it's possible I work with most sensitive and awkward people who think like I can't do, who are imploding, basically how I said. So.
Right. Well, I am an extrovert. I don't know if you could tell that or not.
Yeah.
I am an extrovert. However, I really connect well. I have great rapport with introverts. One of my daughters is an introvert. My 2 other daughters are extroverts. But anyway, people tell me that I could, my close friends tell me that I could talk to a rock and I could sell a polar bear an island in South Pacific. Which is absolutely hilarious. So I have this thing going on that's going to start June 21 on the new moon. It's called Make Love to the Resistance. Yes. And it's all about interrupting patterns interrupting patterns and creating more of what you want in your life. And it's about taking responsibility. We have 3 phases. We have a clearing and a grounding phase that goes on for 3 weeks. And then we have an education phase, like an education of self phase, where we examine, okay, we know how, and the education, that's okay. The education is the why. And then we have an implementation phase that's 2.5 or 3 weeks. It kind of runs into, they kind of mesh together where we practice. And practice, I use a lot of NLP techniques. I use a lot of art, creating visualization techniques. And it's about a process. It's not about a product. It's not a wine and sip deal. And seriously, the people that succeed really well with the creative visualization are the people that are not trained artists, because they embrace the process. They're not trained to see a product, you know. And I do have I have a free offering that I will put the link to on this page. And if you go to my website, debbiestroud.com, it's on the front page. It's called From Fearless to Courage, A Heart Journey. And it's all about art prompts, and we journal, and then we sling paint over that. And it's about getting clarity of what your fears are, and then transforming those over into what is truth. What you can rise into, you know, what is really truth. And a lot of the things that we tell ourselves, I'm not good enough, you know, I'm not pretty enough, nobody's ever going to want me. I used to I felt so bad about my own self-image that I can remember when my middle daughter was my oldest daughter was on the dance team. And we grew up in a little Kentucky town. Everybody knew each other. I remember walking into the gym, and I felt like every single eye had turned to me, and they're all going, "Ooh." Now, really, had they? No, nobody was looking at me, but that was so bad inside me that played on a continuous loop all around my head. So that whole thing, that whole free offering is all about that, looking at the things that you tell yourself in your head, the stories that you've told yourself, and let's examine that for what it is. Fear is not truth. So let's reframe it. And that's what we do. And we use paint and canvas, and it's a lot of fun. Lots of fun.
My dog is barking loud, so I muted myself.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, because there was fireworks. But yeah, I love how many similarities we have. That's
I know, right?
like the fuck and the courage, you know, the fear and the courage. It's powerful.
It is. No wonder the universe brought us together, girl. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Well, this has been a delightful hour, like a power hour with you.
That's right. Yeah.
And let's see what happens next.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm just going to move. Reaching out, you know, we never know. And I teach this in the course. It's like feminine principles of rapport and communication. And you never know what it's going to bring. But it's always something interesting. And it keeps the creative muse in us.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love. I'm really creative by myself, but you get me with somebody else that's very creative, and there's like, boom, something happens. A catalyst happens.
Well, you know, what just came in my mind, and I just want to share it out loud, is like, wouldn't it be fun to do some kind of, I don't know, offering where it's like art and I bring the sexuality and
yes.
like, no.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like painting your muse or bringing out your inner muse, or, oh girl, we got to get some stuff going.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue the conversation. It feels, and I'd love to know, people watching, like, what's happening for you right now as you watch both of us? Because this is basically our first time engaging.
Right.
We just did last week, and you took the ball and ran with it. And I love leaders.
Yeah.
So I feel like, oh, thank goddess. Like, I didn't have to do anything but show up. And I really, which gives my muse like time to flirt and play and, you know, all this stuff.
Right. So, see, that's what I do naturally. I'm one of those type A personalities that just makes it happen, which really is a challenge in itself. And sometimes I've learned to step back.
Well, me too. And here's a great example. I'm a take charge. Let's do it. So in this case, for me to be able to just receive and surrender and show up, it's to me, it's a great teamwork,
It's
right?
beautiful. Yeah, it's
So I
beautiful.
want more of that, and I've been asking for it, and so I know I'm not going to have to pick up the slack here.
Exactly.
I
No.
get
No, no, no,
excited
no.
about that stuff.
Yes.
Cool.
Well, I
All
love you.
right. Well,
Mwah. I'm
thank
so excited that we got together.
yes.
And seriously, people who are watching, um, yeah, let us know. Would you like to see us do this? Would there be an interest on that? I think there would be. I think it'd be amazing. Leave
Yeah.
us questions. If you're going to comment, please put replay so we'll know that you're watching the replay. Let us know any questions that you have. And yeah,
Beautiful.
creative magic and mayhem.
Oh. All right,
Okay.
sister. Have a great afternoon.
Yep, you too. We love you guys. Mwah.
Bye.